What's up everybody, this is your boy Charlie coming at y'all with another video. Today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious fried shrimp. I'm also going to show you how to make a dipping sauce to dip your shrimp in, which is really good. This recipe serves between 2 to 4 people. It's enough to have like a small appetizer where people could just get a little piece of shrimp, dip it in the shrimp sauce, and there you have it. Okay, now some ideas. You could take this fried shrimp and you can make a shrimp po' boy with it. You can also take it and add it into a salad, or you could take it and add it to one of those flour tortillas with some lettuce, tomato, and you could just pour the sauce on top of that and wrap it, and you'll have shrimp wraps. Now I have recipe videos for all of those, and I'll have the links in the description box. And lastly, this fried shrimp is absolutely delicious. You're really gonna like it. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what y'all gonna need to make y'all fried shrimp with dipping sauce. Let's get started. You will need 2 to 3 pounds of fresh Louisiana shrimp, and along with that you will need some yellow cornmeal, all-purpose flour, 3 large eggs, 1 large lemon, and 48 fluid ounces of canola oil. For your seasonings, you will need some salt, Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Now if you don't have this, you could use the Zatarain's Creole seasoning or the Slapping Mama Cajun seasoning. You will also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Seafood Magic, onion powder, and garlic powder. Now if you're making the dipping sauce, you will need some mayonnaise, sour cream, vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, Zatarain's Creole mustard, and for the seasonings for that, you will also need some cayenne pepper and some paprika. And there we have it. Let's get straight to it. We're going to start by removing the head off of the shrimp, and we're going to place that into one bowl. Now we're going to peel the shell off of the shrimp. Now as for the end part of the shell of the shrimp, I'm just going to leave that on. Now as for you, if you want to take that off, you just pinch it and just pull it off and you'll be all set. Okay. Now the shrimp shells, you're going to take that and place that into the same bowl with your shrimp heads. Okay, now we're going to take a sharp knife and we're going to cut out the back of the shrimp going along the length. Let's open this up. Here is the shrimp's digestive tract. I call it a black string. You're going to pull that out and discard that, okay? And we're going to take our shrimp tail and place that into a separate bowl, okay? Here we have our shrimp shells and heads. Now you want to save this just in case if you want to make a shrimp stock, you could freeze it and use that at any time. We're going to add our shrimp tails into a strainer, and we're going to rinse our shrimp tails off with cold water. Now I like to do this step just as a precaution. We placed our shrimp tails into a large bowl. Let's add some seasoning. Sprinkle 1 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, a half a teaspoon of Chef Paul Prud'homme's Seafood Magic, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now here we have 1 large lemon. We're going to cut that in half. We have a mesh strainer here. We're going to squeeze a half a lemon. Using your hands, you're going to coat those seasonings onto the shrimp tails. Now we're going to cover this. Place this into your fridge and let this marinate for 1 hour or overnight. We've added 3 large eggs into a small bowl. Add 1/8 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning and 1/8 teaspoon of Chef Paul Prud'homme's Seafood Magic. Using a whisk, stir until combined. It's looking pretty good. Now let's get started with our cornmeal all-purpose flour batter. Add 1 1/2 cups of yellow cornmeal, 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 2 teaspoons of Chef Paul Prud'homme's Seafood Magic, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Using a spoon, stir all ingredients until combined. Now let's make our sauce. Add 1/3 cup of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, 1 teaspoon of Zatarain's Creole mustard, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Worcester sauce, 1/4 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of paprika, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now to cut the acid of the sauce, add 1 teaspoon of sugar or honey. Sorry I didn't include this into the ingredients list. Okay, we're going to take a whisk and we're going to stir all ingredients until combined. Looking pretty good. Now let's get started with frying our shrimp. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. In a medium-sized pot, add the entire bottle, that's 48 fluid ounces total, of canola oil. You're going to let the oil get hot for 12 minutes. Now before we get started with frying our shrimp, when we get finished from frying our shrimp, we're going to place it onto this cooling rack here. Now if you don't have that, here's another option. You can use a mesh strainer. And if you don't have that, got another method for you. Here we have a serving plate lined with some napkins. You can place your shrimp on that once it's finished, okay? Now that we have our batters and all that prepared and ready to go, let's get started with frying our shrimp. We're going to start by taking our shrimp, adding it into our egg mixture. You want to make sure that's coated really good. Now we're going to shake the shrimp just a little bit, just to shake some of that egg mixture off there. And we're going to place it into our cornmeal all-purpose flour batter. Now we're going to cover this. I'm going to shake the bowl to coat that shrimp with the cornmeal all-purpose flour batter. Now we're going to remove the shrimp out of the batter, and you want to shake it a little bit just to get some of that batter off, as we want a light coating. And we're going to add it into the hot oil. Now you want to add 10 shrimp at a time, okay? Now we're going to let this fry for 3 to 4 minutes. It's been about 3 to 4 minutes now, and as you can see, our shrimp is floating at the surface of our oil. That lets us know that it is done. Now we're going to take a slotted spoon and we're going to remove the shrimp out of the oil and place it onto your cooling rack, mesh strainer, or serving dish lined with napkins. Let this cool for 5 minutes before serving. Here is the final presentation, and there you have it. Homemade Louisiana fried shrimp with homemade dipping sauce, made from scratch by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. You can also check out this recipe along with all of my other recipes at www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook and on Instagram under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned, as Charlie's taste test is coming up next. Now it's time to go ahead and take a bite. Okay. Dip it in my little special dipping sauce here. See, bro, that was off the chain. It was really, really good. Nice crunchiness on the outside. The shrimp is nice and tender, well seasoned, not overpowering it at all. And then this shrimp sauce right here, woo, this special sauce right here is really, really good. It blends perfectly for fried foods such as shrimp. I mean, it is really, really good. So, give the recipe a try. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, have a blessed one. Peace.